Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 282. God revealed to Peter, the Apostle Peter, that Jesus was the Messiah, the Son of the living God, in Matthew chapter 16, verse 16. A short time later, Peter found himself speaking on behalf of the devil. Jesus rebuked him in Matthew chapter 16, verse 23 by saying, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." See, Jesus' rebuke kind of seems severe, but the fact that he identified Satan as the source of Peter's words was precise and it was appropriate. The devil's aim, his scheme, is to promote his self-interest as the chief end of humankind and the self-interest of humans also. That's his aim, to promote self-interest as the chief end of humankind. Satan is called the prince of this world because self-interest rules this world. He is called the accuser because he does not believe that we have a higher motive than self-service. Satan's creed, his belief system, his whatever, sounds like this: save yourself at all costs. Sacrifice duty to self-interest, the cause of Christ to personal convenience. Don't worry about the cause of Christ. What do you want? What are you comfortable with? You know, all people are selfish at heart, and they all have their price. Some may hold out longer than others, but in the end, people choose their own will over the will of God. God has given the keys of the kingdom to those who deny themselves, pick up their cross daily, and follow Jesus. According to Matthew chapter 16, verse 19, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heaven. Well, a similar passage to that can be found in Matthew chapter 18, verse 18. But in verses 19 and 20, Jesus has added some words. He says, "I tell you that if two of you on earth agree about anything that they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where two or three gather in my name, there I am with them." 3 points need to be noted in this passage. First, because the truth sets people free, the keys of the kingdom may mean that the keys of knowledge, according to Luke chapter 11, verse 52. When we know the truth, we can be set free. Second, both passages on binding and loosing, they are difficult to translate, but following the rules of Greek grammar, both passages can be translated this way: whatever you bind on earth shall have been bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall have been loosed in heaven, according to Matthew chapter 16, verses 19. See, the same Greek language structure is found in John chapter 20, verse 23, where it says, "If you forgive anyone their sins are forgiven. If you do not forgive them, they are not forgiven." But the passage is translated in John chapter 20, verse 23 in the New American Standard Bible is, "If you forgive the sins of any, their sins have been forgiven them. And if you retain or don't forgive the sins of any, they have been retained." I don't know if you notice the subtle difference between the two translations, but linguistically they can be translated either way, but the New American Standard Bible translation is the preferred translation, because most theologians agree that the church does not have the power and right to bind or loose or forgive whoever they want to. But if they have been bound, we can declare them bound. If they've been loosed, we can declare them loose. If they've been forgiven, we can declare them forgiven. Well, third, what are the two or three gathered together in Jesus' name agreeing on? It's God's will. The idea is to bind and loose and forgive. That idea, it originated in heaven, not in the independent minds of humanity. So God is able to communicate in such a way that discerning Christians do have the keys of the kingdom, and they're pronouncing and announcing what God has already ordained. So when two or three declare God's will, it shall be done. See, everything that is true and lasting actually originates in heaven, and our job is just to declare it here on earth. Our key point today is that God has given the keys of the kingdom to those who deny themselves, pick up their cross, and follow Jesus. Our key verse, John chapter 6, verse 38, "For I have come down from heaven not to do my will, but to do the will of him who sent me." Hopefully, that's your will also, to do the will of him who is in heaven. God bless you. See you tomorrow for another episode of Spiritual Foundations for Life.